sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake.
Welcome to Wellness Tuesday. Did you like that intro?
That was dope.
Hey guys, welcome to Wellness Tuesdays. If you like that video that I just did of the intro, make sure you join my class this Saturday at 7 p.m. where I'm going to be doing a class on how to create content with videos. So make sure you register. You can go to www.bitly.com and it's BITLY. Let me pull it up. BIT/LY/create content for myself. And make sure you register, or you can visit my website always at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com to register also. So I'm excited, Sharmane. I was excited when Wellness Tuesdays comes because I know you always got some good stuff for us. And I know we started last week talking about fasting, and we were talking about how it affects our body. And this week, you're going to do a part 2. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm going to be talking about the focus is going to be diabetes today. So I'm just going to be kind of breaking that down.
Okay, well, go or have at it.
All right. Well, hello, you guys. Thank you, Nadira, for having me as always. If you are here, it's because you are supposed to be here to receive this information. Now, for those of you who are new to viewing, do not know who I am an herbal naturopath. And what I do is I basically teach people how to naturally detox their bodies using just nature. And the reason I do that is to help them save money on medical expenses, help them from suffering from an illness or even like prevent the illness, and also to break the cycles of generational illness and basically overall to control our health. Because a lot of times I don't think that we understand the power that we have over our health. So that is why it's really so important to be able to do these things. And I'm very passionate about that because I have my own story where I was suffering from a chronic illness and I was told that there was no cure or nothing I could do about it. Less than 2% of the world population is diagnosed with it. It's called lichen planus. And it's super important because I didn't know I was able to control my health. I didn't know I had that much power to be able to reverse my illness, which I did. You know, a lot of people say control it. However, control it or, reverse it, guess what? It's gone. And that's all I know. So definitely, we have to understand where we have control over our health. So that's some of the things that I do. And again, review of kind of like last week, what we went over. The part 1, we went over fasting in various forms. I went over like the history of fasting, the importance of fasting. We talked about how kids practice in different cultures, how kids actually practice fasting and meditation at a really young age and the power behind that. And also got into like the stigma, that comes behind fasting. And that's really why we're here to do a part 2, because there's a lot of stigma behind fasting. So I kind of went over that in part 1. And again, fasting means to remove. Fasting means to remove, and it means not to consume. So that's why it's really a form of a cleanse, because it's like a car. When you're cleaning out a car, what are you doing? You're removing the trash out of the car. So that's a part of the cleansing process to allow your body to naturally detox and to go through a process of repairing. But adding and actually utilizing the herbs and the fruit and the water, because there's different types of fasting. I went over the juice fasting and the juice, I call it a juice cleanse, a fruit cleanse. Some people call it a fruit feast, the water fasting, things like that. Just utilizing those forms of fasting is just helping the body, it's helping push the body along and utilizing the herbs like that, which is beneficial to the detoxing and repairing process. So that's something that's super important. So like, for example, like when you're doing the intermittent fasting, which seems to be like a popular one that a lot of people utilize, but you're consuming for that one meal a day, you're consuming smothered pork chops or barbecue ribs or loaded potatoes. When you do consume, because you're consuming one meal a day when you're doing that type of fast, that's not going to help you detox and repair your body. So you just want to kind of be cautious of when you're consuming that one meal a day. You want to be aware of what you are consuming, in your mind, you're like, oh, it's just one meal a day, so it's not a big deal. But it really is. It really is a big deal, because you don't want to confuse the body. You don't want to confuse the body, because what you're doing is you're basically sending two different signals to the body when you do that. So one signal may be, one signal is telling the body, so, okay, we're fasting, we're not consuming. So we're giving, the digestive system a break, for X amount of hours, however long you decide to fast. Now, the other signal is saying, oh, when you do consume, okay, now we're consuming again. But then the food that's going in your digestive system is breaking down into the colon as waste, and it's affecting, your organs. So we don't want to get to a point where we confuse the body. So that's why it's so important to make sure that when you are eating that one meal a day, if you choose to go the intermittent fasting route, that one meal a day is going to consist of something that provides the body with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So that's something that's really important, because that's where a lot of illness happens. A lot of illness happens when we are consuming these things that are not conducive to our health. So often we sacrifice our health, slowly, for a lot of little moments that add up. We're definitely, can be guilty of that. Like, oh, I just eat cheesecake on this day. Oh, I just eat this. Or maybe I just eat a little bit. I just eat one cookie. I'll just, and all those little moments definitely, add up over time. I know I'm guilty of it. Have you been guilty of it, Nadira?
Oh my God. I'm laughing because I love me some cheesecake, girl. I'm telling you. Cheesecake with strawberries. Oh my gosh. I literally have to stay away from it, because, when you really start figuring out what's inside of this stuff, it's like, I don't want to know. It's like, if I want to eat it, don't tell me what's in it, because I wait till afterwards. Because it's like,
right.
That appetite. So yes, I definitely understand.
That's how I am. Cheesecake is my weakness too. Like it was to a point where, I was just like consuming so much of it, and it's just like, when you honestly, like, it's kind of like an addiction. You can have a minor food addiction. And what ends up happening is we don't have, instead of, I talked about this before, but instead of eating one slice, we end up eating like 2-3 slices, 4 slices, the whole pack. If you get it from Walmart, a little pack. See, terrible.
Oh goodness.
But yes. So, but those little moments like that, they add up, and that's super important, that, and then when we're diagnosed with a chronic illness or pre-diabetes or high cholesterol or something like that, or even something, that people would consider minor, like eczema, then we're confused at how that happened. But those little things that we did happened, that's what happened. That's what ended up happening. Okay. So, it's like when you're, when parents also, like when your kids suffer from illnesses when they're little, you have to pay attention to that. Okay. Please pay attention to that, because those little things leads to other illnesses if you do not get a hold on it. Okay. And I know we believe that, a lot of times, oh, where they're little, their bodies can handle it. They're little. It's okay. But it's really not okay. Because in all honesty, there's 400,000 children diagnosed with cancer in the world, right? 400,000 children.
That's a lot.
So that is a lot, right? So when we're downplaying it, saying, oh, the kids will be all right. Oh, the kids can have that. They can handle it. That's definitely not something that, the mindset that we should have going in with that. I know when I was little, I suffered with like heartburn really bad. I had heartburn and I had eczema. Really, my skin would always break out in a rash. My lower body locked up, and I couldn't move my legs at 14 years old when I was in high school. And a year later, that was the first time that I passed out. Yeah, I was 15 years old the first time I passed out, and all that, was a combination of stress and unhealthy eating, when I was younger. And for those of, you know, the parents that kind of say, what could a 14-year-old stress about? You know, it depends on your lifestyle and the environment and things like that, you know. But that's a big stigma, you know, that people say, you know, about the kids. What do you have to stress about? You don't pay any bills. You know, but yeah, we definitely, you know, say things like that. But you just kind of want to be, you know, careful and conscious. So you want to, you know, stop, you know, kind of take these kids' health seriously, you know, because your children are a reflection of you. They are a reflection of you, and their health is your responsibility. You know, a lot of us don't think about that. You know, you have to help them help your habits. As a parent, that is your responsibility, you know, but you can't do that if you're passing down generational habits. You can't do that if you're passing down that's not conducive to your health. You know, things like that. And you know, that's another lie for another day. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but you know, I did feel like that needed to be said before I actually, you know, dive deep into everything else, because you know, we often fuss as parents, you know, oh, this child eat too much junk food, this child do this child do that. Well, can that child drive to the store and buy it themselves and put it in the cabinet?
Absolutely.
That's right. Like that's a responsibility of parents. You know, the child can't go in there and do that. And if they can, you know, if they are old enough to be able to drive and go get the junks and stuff like that, you have to ask yourself, well, where did they get their eating habits from? Why don't they, you know, understand the importance of what they're consuming? At the end of the day, that's the part of breaking that cycles of generational illness. It's teaching your children, because yelling or condemning them for their self-image is only going to make them sneak it. Like once they are old enough to go drive or have access to these things, they're going to go sneak it. I've seen it happen many times. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
That's for sure. It's funny that when I hear you talk, you not only talk, even though, you know, some people, we use our experience in that, you know, sometimes that's enough. But I love the fact that you've researched and you've put in the time and you've invested into yourself, into making sure that not only did you just have your experience, but you have the knowledge to go with your experience. And that's what makes trusting you as a naturopath, an herbal naturopath, for direction and coaching is good, because you not only just have one area of expertise, you actually have the knowledge to go with it. So that's amazing.
Definitely. Thank you. Yes, I'm always trying to, you know, because I know I've been through it, life experiences, you know, but that having that knowledge, knowing the numbers, knowing how serious it is, that's the part that brings awareness to people. That's the part that makes you go, really? Wow, you know, I didn't know it affected that. I didn't know, you know. So when we ask that why, you know, I kind of come in, you know, and I'm just like, okay, well, did you know that this? Did you know that, you know? And I know firsthand, you know, and I know from helping other people how this goes. So definitely that's super important, you know, when you're a coach and you're working with people, that's for sure. You know, so we don't want to get to the point where we continue to say, you know, things like, oh, well, diabetes running my family and I'll probably be getting it and I'll die from something. And I really hear these things like, oh, well, it ain't no point in trying to do this because we're going to die from something anyway. No, love, that's what I call a food addiction. If you have that mindset, it's because you're so addicted to food that you're willing to find any excuse to consume these things that are toxic for you, and put in place that, oh, well, something's going to happen to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that's another thing. That's another process that I teach in my program, in the Heal by Nature program, how to get out of that mindset and how not to actually go back to that, because that's super important. We don't want to get to a point where we start and then we stop, and then we start and then we stop. So that's actually one of the main processes that we go through in the beginning stages of the program, is how to get out of that mindset and how to create those habits. The H in Heal by Nature, the H stands for habits, which are super, you know, that's super crucial to your health, because that's how you got to where you are, because of habits. You know, that's how you got to where you are, because of those habits that you established. So that's something that's just like, definitely important, that I also talk to people about also. So Now I want to kind of talk about, now we can get into diabetes, because I know I'm like over here, but some of those things definitely need to get said. Okay, so 463 million people were in the world. 463 million people in the world have been diagnosed with diabetes in some way, shape, or form. You have 88 million adults have pre-diabetes in the US. That means that's 1 in every 3 adults. That means if me, you, and somebody else is in the room, one of us would be diagnosed with diabetes. So that's 1 in every 3 person. Over 34 million people in the United States have been diagnosed with diabetes, and that's 1 in every 10 individuals. And the reason that they've been diagnosed with diabetes, 89% of those individuals out of those 88 million, 89% of them are overweight. You have 38% that's just not physically active. They're just not physically active at all. You have 37% that have suffered from chronic kidney disease. And also 25% have moderate symptoms of chronic kidney disease. And that's ranging from ages 10 to 19 have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Ages 10 to 19. So when you say, when you hear people say, oh, kids they're resilient, they're good, they can eat all the sweets, their body is young. That's not the answer. Because remember, 400,000 kids have diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, because I think in order for your kids to, when you think about somebody that has diabetes, especially when I think about in my family specifically, I have people that are in my family that are diabetics, like my mom's sister, my mom's brother, like everybody's going down the line. And what I realize is that in order to change the direction that, so that you don't have to fall in that same category, you have to be intentional. And sometimes growing up, your parents fed you what they knew, what their parents showed them. And so health wasn't, when you think about it, back when our parents were younger, health was not a really big deal. We didn't cook. Cooking was how we communicated, how we spent time together, how we fellowship together. So there wasn't a whole lot of health talk around that fried chicken and, and all that other stuff. And then it seems like now we're in a new era where, the food is different. We're eating more out than we are cooking now. And so now we're realizing some of the effects of what's going on in our body. And a lot of us are desiring to make those changes.
Right, definitely. Like you said, a while ago, decades ago and things like that. And also they didn't have the technology, that they have now to be able to test diseases and certain things of that nature. The numbers have skyrocketed, as far as, the number of illnesses and things like that, those numbers over decades have went up. So I think, it's like people are bringing more, awareness. Awareness is being brought to it because it's affecting more lives. It's affecting more families, and instead of kind of adjusting to that or wanting to learn more or bringing awareness, it's just like we get to a point where we're just kind of like, well, it runs in my family. I hear that a lot. Like, this runs in my family, so I know I'm going to get it. But when you speak that type of, when you speak power, because words have power, when you start to speak and say these things, then you already put your mindset to a point where you're just like, well, I can eat what I want. I can do what I want because I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? You get to that mindset. So that's super, powerful that you brought that up, and that's why, my focus is breaking the cycles of generational illness. That's a part of it. That's part of one of my missions, because we want to get out that mindset where we're just like, we want to become teachable and coachable and learn more. We have to bring awareness so our children are not suffering down the line, but that comes with wanting to learn, where your food comes from, wanting to learn new habits, wanting to do these things. not in the mindset like, oh, well, well, this happened to me and this happened to my grandma, so it's going to happen to me. We don't want to do that.
How does a diabetic transition into, because it's difficult. I've watched, in the beginning, when I was sharing certain things with my mom, she had a really tough time with, letting go certain types of food because that was what she was used to. There was always a craving for this and a craving for that. How does a diabetic take steps or take a step towards changing and fasting in order to initiate this fast without feeling like they're putting their life at risk? Because some of them might say, well, I might need to talk to my doctor, and their doctor may not encourage fasting. So how does who actually is wanting to fast, because you've told us the benefits of fasting. And so for somebody who wants to embrace the benefits of fasting, how do they take that first step to being able to fast?
So the first thing you're going to want to do is definitely pick the because fasting is a dry fast because you're not consuming. However, if you don't want to start there, and the thing about it is if you choose to start there at the dry fast, like I said, the last video, start at one day, start at 24 hours, start there, start slow, because you don't want to shock your body. You don't want to shock, your mind. You don't want to get to a point where you start and give up, and then when you have, start there, 24 hours. And that's with any type of fast or cleanse that you do. So if you want to go more of a juice route or a water route, again, start at 24 hours. And then just slowly work your way, to others, to 2 days, 3 days, things like that. So that's where you want to start, slow and steady. Now, when you have cravings and things like that, you can find alternatives to what you're craving. But however, you have to get to a mindset. You have to be strong enough to not be stubborn. Because, when we have something and we try to find an alternative, that our natural reaction is, I don't want that. It don't taste right. That don't have to.
Just like my mom, I don't want that. I was like, Mom, what are you eating? I'm eating salad, but you're only eating 2 things in salad. Like, that's not salad. That's just lettuce and tomatoes. I ain't trying to, I don't like it. I don't like this. I'm like, salads don't have to be, it doesn't have to be boring. You can add stuff to it. I have something on my lap. You can add something to it, and it can actually, it can actually be good. You can try, but some people, especially if they're used to eating just a certain way, I like the fact that you said start out with one day. And how often should somebody fast that has diabetes? Should that be done monthly, quarterly, like every 3 months for those that may not know what quarterly is? Or should that just be something that to their discretion?
So, like with the fasting, because a lot of people, if you're suffering from diabetes, it's going to be actually harder for you to fast because your body is so, with the blood sugar levels and things like that. And I'm gonna break that down also. But as far as fasting, like I said, just start off with one day and work your way up. Because I can say, oh, if you're diabetic, you need to dry fast for 72 hours. Like you can start there, but it's just going to be tough for a lot, because remember, 89% of people that's diagnosed with diabetes are overweight. You're not going to tell, somebody, and I've suffered from obesity myself. I've gotten to the point where my weight, so a lot of times, like, you don't have the self-discipline to go over one day. So that's just, that's a good start, 24 hours, and then working your way up. Because it's a mindset shift. Remember, the habits that you have developed over time have gotten you to where you're at, at that time and moment.
That's good, because I like the starting with the one day, because it's not too extreme. So you're not feeling like, for those people that are, that are terrified of, oh my God, this is going to happen. I like the fact that you just said, just start out doing this. This is what you do first. It makes a difference, because now you're not as reluctant to be able to try it, because it's like, oh, okay, I can just do this at one day. I can do this one day at a time and still feel and not really worry about it affecting me, because either way, whether it's one day or not, you're still going to have that effect, that withdrawal you know.
Right.
It doesn't want to change. Your body doesn't want to create new habits.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a slow, a slow process. But when you reap those benefits, and I always tell people, just increase your fruit and vegetable intake. Start there. Start there. Increase the greens and increase. Just start there. Start somewhere. Because that's what's super important. Replace that one thing in your refrigerator with this one thing. Because it's not something that you just jump into, and that's how people get anxiety and things like that and just quit. Because in our head we're already like, oh, fasting, oh man, it's 5, 7, 10 days. It's like, if you haven't even done once a week, so say you dry fast for 24 hours, you can do that once a week. You can start there, once a week, 24 hours. That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
Some people will go into anxiety. What?
Right, because they heard the word. Just like, that's why I don't use the word diet. It's a lifestyle change. Because as soon as you say the word diet, you already giving yourself anxiety. You're already just like, oh my gosh, what can I eat? What can I eliminate? What? When is it gonna be over?
Right.
So we definitely don't want to do that. We just want to start there at that one day and just kind of increase our go from there. Yes. So for those of you that don't know exactly like what diabetes is and how the different types of diabetes, I'm definitely gonna break that down in a little while. After the break, I'm gonna break all that down, because I know that's something that you get your pen and papers out and get them ready, because hopefully after I explain all these things, you'll be more aware of the importance. You'll be able to help somebody, help yourself if you are pre-diabetic or diabetes, help somebody else if you know somebody that's suffering. And I'm definitely gonna get into that.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our herbal naturopath, Sharmane Harrison, after this.
Do you have a business, product, or service that you want to share on the Sisterhood Check-In broadcast? Make sure you send us a message at becomingawomanofproverbs@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us at 470-560-5949. We look forward to partnering with you here on the broadcast. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to join me and International Holistic Health and Wellness Coach Sharmane Harrison as we begin to discuss all things health every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in the Wisdom Clinic. I'll see you on the inside. You sometimes get overwhelmed and discouraged. But let me read to you what Colossians chapter 1 says, verse 8. Who also declared unto us your love in the Spirit. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that ye may walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints of light. I just want to take the time to tell you, be encouraged. Don't let anybody take your light, and just know that God is always in control.
All right, and we are back. I was getting into the commercial. I was like in the background, like,
I know, that's how it
was. We are back with our herbal naturopath, Sharmane Harrison. And again, if you guys enjoyed that commercial and you want to learn how to create content for your business or whatever product or service that you offer, make sure you go and register for the class. I'm going to be teaching a class Saturday on how to create content, video content that pop, that make people jump and make people want to, make them so excited to be able to purchase whatever product or service that you have. So make sure you join us this Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can go right now. You can go to bit.ly/create content for myself so that you can save hundreds of dollars and be able to make it yourself. And I'll show you with these simple tools. Sharmane, you have been really like, you always just help us out so much, but I really like the fact that you're teaching us about just not only just, you're not just giving us information, but you're giving us steps on what we need to do. So I'm going to turn it back over to you and I'm going to let you finish up.
Alrighty, awesome. So for those of you who don't know exactly what diabetes is, so you have pre-diabetes. So pre-diabetes is a condition classified in people who have basically high blood glucose or hemoglobin at a very higher than normal level, but not high enough to be classified as diabetes. Now, people with pre-diabetes have an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, and strokes, okay? Then you have diabetes. So that's a condition characterized by hyperglycemia, resulting in the body's inability to use blood glucose for energy, okay? You have type 1 diabetes. Is characterized by high blood glucose levels caused by a lack of insulin. And this occurs when the body's immune system attacks the insulin producing cells in the pancreas and destroys them. The pancreas then produces little to no insulin. And type 1 diabetes is actually developed most often in young people, are at higher risk, but can appear in adults. Type 2 is a condition characterized by high blood glucose levels by either a lack of insulin or the body's inability to use insulin efficiently. Now, type 2 diabetes develops mostly in middle-aged or older adults, but can appear in children, teens, and young adults. Now, I know that was a mouthful, but to sum that up, your body is not producing. Or if your body is producing, it's being attacked by itself, or both. So somewhere in each of those is the breakdown. Your body's not producing, or it's producing too much, or it's attacking what it's producing, or a combination of both. So that's basically what the difference is between the type of diabetes are. It's different on levels on how your body responds overall. And however, in my eyes, illness is an illness, and that is not to be taken lightly. Definitely. A hormone that helps the body use glucose for energy. So the beta cells of the pancreas makes insulin when the body cannot make enough insulin. Insulin is taken by injection or other means. So that's basically what insulin is, okay? It's kind of like, so insulin is a hormone, first of all. So at some point, I spoke about vitamin D. And people are like, oh, you take vitamin D capsules, right? Mm-hmm. However, vitamin D is a hormone produced in the body. I'm not a big fan on taking supplements that supposed to naturally produce in the body. Because how are you going to get it from a pill if it's supposed to be produced in the body? So some people take, insulin shots and things like that, which that's fine if you need to, do those things. But a lot of people don't understand that stuff is produced in the body. Okay.
When you say the body, isn't that the purpose of why they take it, is because their body is not producing it?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's fine for them to consume, to get the injections and stuff like that for the time and moment. I just want to, let people know that your body naturally produces these things if it's cleansed and things like that. If it's cleansed and stuff like that. I'm gonna go over that also. Okay. How to help your body naturally produce those that insulin also. But this is why it's so important to consume the things that help the body produce. A lot of the times our body's not producing something, or something's not filtering, or things like that, because of the simple fact that we're not consuming enough of the good stuff that's going to help our bodies produce those things. again, the goal is for your body to produce those hormones, not to be injected in our bodies by any other means. But the first thing you're going to want to do through a process is the process of cleansing, detoxing, and repairing. By doing this, this will help you cleanse and purify the blood, because that's basically what needs to happen. The blood needs to be cleansed and purified. You have to detox the body of waste, and you want to repair the glands that actually help our bodies produce those hormones, like, the thyroid, the pineal, the adrenalines, things like that. So you just want to kind of help the body produce that, and those glands are is a part of the endocrine system. And if that's not functioning the way it's supposed to, then that's when you are at risk. You can be at risk for a lot more than diabetes if those things are not functioning. I know firsthand. Herbs that help the body naturally produce insulin are herbs like fenugreek and ginger. So ginger is one of those powerful herbs. I also consume ginger daily. That's one of those power herbs. Gotta love ginger.
I don't start the day without, how they say the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Well, the best part of waking up is that ginger.
Ginger. And your cup and your smoothies, all of it. I feel you. It is so true, though. It is so true. Like ginger is one of those powerful herbs, and kind of like food that helps the body naturally produce insulin is things like avocados, you do chickpeas, walnuts, stuff like that. However, if the blood level is too high, your blood sugar level is too high, you can take things like ginseng. Cinnamon may help in lowering, aiding in lowering that, those things. But overall, I say that to say these things alone will not actually suffice without actually getting into a lifestyle change, because herbs are not a quick fix medication. Food is not a quick fix medication. There's a process that has to happen. Everything has to be pushed out of the body and repaired. Okay, so the body basically has to go through a reset, and that is what I teach in the Heal by Nature online program. Okay, so
Number two has a question. She wants to know, do we take the juice or do you take powder with the ginger?
Oh, for ginger? Oh, you can do so ginger, I actually do raw ginger. I do other raw ginger. You can take the raw ginger and you can boil it, or I take the powdered ginger. I like powdered ginger because I can just put some in my smoothie, things like that. So that's what I do. I just take it, as is, or you can do tea form. A lot of people do tea form also.
Yeah, she says much of people facing this problem is because of insulin resistance. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Perpetua.
No problem. Yes. So you want to make sure that the body resets. As you saw in the percentage earlier, stated that overweight individuals suffer diabetes. From diabetes, 89%. So we see that is one of the biggest problems. And I may lose some people with this comment that I'm about to make, and that's fine, because my job is to put out the truth. We have to put things in perspective. We have to stop glamorizing excess fat on the body, because it's not healthy. Okay. Telling ourselves, we get the whole stick, I'm thick, I'm fine with my weight, or my man like it, and all this stuff. If you have breathing issues, if you have chest pains, if you can't walk down the street without getting dizzy, then there is a deeper issue. Okay. I know at one point I stated that about a year or so ago, and they're, oh, you're judgy. I'm not judgy. I'm here to tell the truth. I've been through it, so I know, I understand. When I was fighting, obesity at one point, like I said, I'm 5 feet. I should have not been pushing 160 plus pounds. Things like that. So, you kind of get to a point where you're trying to convince yourself that you're good to go. And it's like, that's not healthy. You really are not, so we have to make sure that we are taking our health seriously and becoming more aware, and not just, don't take it personal.
boy, it's not good to be all that stomach gut and stuff. That's not healthy. Walking around with unhealthy, and your gut is an example to show you that you're not healthy. So when you see your gut, protruding, and I'm not talking about, other health issues, because sometimes people have, female issues that sometimes cause their stomach to be enlarged. But if you don't have those issues in your stomach, that's one thing I'm learning. I'm glad my stomach is going down, and I noticed it when I started to make those changes. So you're absolutely right. Gut health, good gut health starts with that proper pushing out the waste in your body. And so, especially if you're diabetic, most diabetics have protruding stomachs, because there's no control, there's no self-control when it comes to certain foods. So that's a great point, Sharmane.
Right, definitely. And I say that, not to anybody take it personal, just to be transparent and let you know, you guys need to become self-aware. 89%. That's not me, that's the numbers. I'm not pulling this from this. This is the number, cdc.gov. We have work to do. We have work to do. We often say, well, I don't want to lose weight. I've heard that before. I don't want to lose weight, Sharmane. You're not losing weight. You're losing waste. It's a difference.
You're not losing weight. You're losing waste. I like that.
Right. You're losing waste.
That should be a shirt.
So,
wow.
but overall, the bottom line is that the fat is making it tough for the body to produce insulin. That's all it comes down to. The fat is making it tough for the body to produce insulin. And the body is going to use, there's so much sugar. The body's going to use the sugar in the fruit, but it's going to burn. It's going to, but if the body is going to use, the sugar that you're consuming from potatoes or something like that. Because a lot of people blame it on starch. They're like, oh, the starch and this and that. No, it's not so much that. It's the excess things that you're putting on it. Yes, definitely. A lot of people want to keep their weight, but it's just like, no, you got to lose the waste. Definitely have to lose that waste. And then on top of that, the additives in our food don't help. The additives in our food, if you're diabetic and your body is attacking itself, it's because your immune system is overactive, but you're consuming foods, again, it's the additives, excess salt, oil, cheese, butter, sauces, milk, eggs, the occasional bite of that cake and ice cream. Remember? All those little things add up. Those are the little things that add up. So we cannot turn around and blame sugar from fruit for your diabetes, because that's not true. And I spoke about, how the body breaks down sugar in one of my videos. And I think it was the digestive system. I broke that down, how the body breaks down the different sugars. And I spoke about, the fruit cleansing also. So the body is going to break down a Hershey bar a lot different from how it breaks down the pineapples. The body's not going to take a Hershey bar and say, oh, this is great. Your body's like, when you're talking about sugar.
With this chocolate, especially during menstrual cycle time. Oh my gosh. It's like, why do we crave chocolate, during that time? It's like, there's like a chocolate button in our body. Right. Give me a Hershey's or a Kit Kat.
Yeah, right. Definitely. But our body is definitely going to, break those sugars down. Because I know a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm diabetic, I can't eat this sugar. But the body can use the vitamins and the nutrients from that pineapple. The body is going to break that. That's what I mean by breaking it down. The body's going to use that. It's going to burn the sugar, but it's going to provide your organs and things like that with the much nutrients and vitamins that our body needs, to help produce hormones and things like that help the body work. So it's a lot different. So, when you go around kind of saying, well, I'm diabetic, I can't eat too much sugar, take that into consideration. Fruit has fiber. Some of them provide amino acids, things like that. Okay.
So certain fruits, like when you think of pineapples, is It's really street, so that's safe. Even though it's considered, most people consider it a lot of sugar, it's safe because it's a good sugar. I'm assuming, right? It's a good sugar.
Right. It's natural. So you're not, if you're diabetic, you're not gonna go around going on a fruit feast where you're consuming nothing but sugar. No, you're not gonna. I mean, the fruit, you're not gonna do that, but you are going to want to um, um, consume the fruit and the vegetables and things like that to be able to help, push that waste out of your body, along with practicing fasting. You want to do that more so than often, especially if you are struggling with being overweight. The goal is to stop consuming the things that are not, conducive to your health.
Y'all don't be scared of eating no pineapples now. Y'all diabetics at a pineapple. Don't be scared.
Right, like don't buy 10 of them and chop them up and say, she said eat the fruit. I mean, like, then you go to your doctor later on to blame it on me. No. Right. Shoot, I'm just saying.
Listen,
but definitely.
Don't practice moderation. So don't be going and buying 4 or 5 pineapples. So right. It's healthy. It's healthy. It is.
Right. Yeah, Sharmane said.
Moderation.
Right. So, definitely. So if you are on medication now for diabetes, honestly, you probably should be seeing a nutritionist in the first place versus a doctor. That's, these doctors study medication. They study medication. They're going to look up your symptoms, and then they're going to provide you with the best medication possible that's going to help you with those symptoms. Okay. And it's going to help you for a moment. So I will never say, oh, you need to get off the medications. No, but you do need to become more aware of the reason that you have diabetes and able to understand how you can help yourself while you are not at the doctor's office outside of the medication. So these are some things that you want to end up doing. At the end of the day, you hold the control for your body. You hold that power, for your body.
Nutritionist. When you said that they should see a nutritionist, some nutritionists now, should it be a certain type of nutritionist? Because some of them now they're sticking to the regular, and I don't really agree with everything that they put in, because I know they're basing it off of the national average and stuff like that.
Right.
Is there a certain type? Of course you can always go to Sharmane. Sharmane can actually be able to help you. She has I'm assuming programs to really set that up. So I would definitely say if you are diabetic and you are looking for ways to transition, definitely go to her website, www.healbynature.org, and schedule a discovery call with her and let her help you to be able to get on the right track, to be able to know how to use the vegetables that we see every day, know you how to proportionalize and going through your mind. And Sharmane is going to tell us a little bit more about her program towards the end. But yeah, make sure if you're going to pick a nutritionalist, you might want to go with Sharmane. You want to go with a person that deals with herbs and has the study of a naturopath that can help you to do it the right way and not just solely just depend on use the national average. When some of that stuff to me,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, and I was speaking from like medication, using medication and kind of weaning themselves off of medication. But yeah, it has to be a really good nutritionist. But because like you said, I definitely do agree with that. It's some out there that's just kind of like, going from what they're learning or, what they're learning from school and just kind of, going like that. But definitely. But as far as the fruit and the vegetables and things like that, at the end of the day, you did not get diabetes from sitting around eating watermelons and papayas and blueberries. Okay, so that's a part of becoming self-aware and being honest and transparent.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure, 9 times out of 10, like you said, you saw the numbers, I'm sure it was caused by the food that's consumed and your continuous habits to consume those complex carbs and the refined foods and the processed foods that cause parasites in your body and waste and contributed to, failure of organs functioning properly, where they're supposed to function. That's where it comes from. And again, this is not a shot at people that, are overweight. And, I'm going 89% out of millions You know, so at some point we have to take a self accountability of what's going on. You know, and that's the same that goes for people who run around that saying, "Oh, I'm in shape, I don't have any issues." I was one of those people. I was in the military. I was like, I'm good, I'm in shape. I got all types of parasites and things of that nature in my body. It really does not matter. You know, illness does not have a preference with your genetic makeup. Okay. You know, as far as that's concerned. 34 million people, 89% suffer from diabetes because they are overweight. That is the number. Diabetes equals, you know, that you may have excess fat in your body, you know, not moving your body. Kidney disease, that was another one. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of celebrities with diabetes and suffering. And that's another, you know, percentage of the symptoms was from kidney disease. I think it was 34 or something like that. So basically your kidneys is not filtering out waste. So if you are consuming waste and the body can't push it out, then disease is going to happen. Illness is going to happen. All these things are going to start piling up, you know? So that's another reason. Your kidneys, you have to be very cautious. Everything is connected. And this is why a quick fix is not sustainable. You know, I'm not one of those health coaches that throw some herbs at you and you're away and say you're good to go, because you're not. You're going to end up, you know, being okay for that moment. Maybe the symptom, you know, will slow down for that moment, but then you're going to keep coming back. And I don't want you to have to keep coming back. I want you to come, you know, come to me. And so we're able to leave, you know, push that waste out of your body. We don't want to, I'm not going to have you keep going. But y'all leave that to the doctors. Okay. I don't, you know, condone that type of thing, in my program. But when you do work with me, you are literally receiving the methods so that you can sustain the results if the methods are applied. Okay. Again, I teach people how to naturally detox their bodies utilizing nature and holistic methods, because everything has to work together. We have to work on that mindset. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all of it has to tie in together. So you are able to save money on medical expenses. So you can get out of a diet mindset into an actual lifestyle change. So you can reverse or prevent illnesses. So you can break that cycle of generational illness. Okay. So if that is something you are looking to do, I do highly recommend that you reach out to me to book a call so that we can get you some results. You can get from you can go from dealing to actually healing these illnesses. Because you don't want to get to a point where you're just like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to deal with it. We don't want to just deal with it because somebody told us that it was nothing we can do about it. We are in control of our health. You can also reach out to me on Instagram too. I'm at Sharmane_Q. So yes.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys, I have it up here. Make sure you reach out to her on Instagram, Sharmane_Q. Make sure you schedule a discovery call with her and let her help. You know, sometimes sometimes we're always asking for help. Oh, I need to do this and I need to change. And then sometimes, God allows the information to be made known to you so that you can be able to bite and take the information and make changes that you need. So take this opportunity in the Wellness Clinic. We meet on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 8 p.m., where Sharmane takes time out to share with us and go over different health tips to help us stay alive. We're in a pandemic. You know, things are happening nowadays, and people, I don't know if you've taken a notice, but there are some people that are not waking up. There are some people that are passing away because they have underlying health issues. And there are some that maybe, I know that there is a lot of statistics and things being said about people that are healthy, but I strongly believe that what you do to care for your body, it'll take care of you. When you take care of your body, it'll take care of you. And I'm sure Sharp would agree with me with that.
Yes, definitely. That's very true. Like you said, the pandemic and COVID, it's the most perfect time to take your health seriously, especially if you're those individuals. I'm not taking that vaccine. If you wanted that, well, come on, let's do something, put something in place so that you can sustain your health. If you don't want to go that route, that's fine. But if you're saying you're not going to take it and you're consuming all this mess and You got this mindset, I'm gonna die anyway, and I'm gonna eat this, and I know this ain't good for me, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I have these habits of smoking and drinking and you know, exchanging energies with people and everybody. And you have to have something in place. You know, you have that. And that's what I talk about all the time. Take your health seriously. Take your health seriously. You know.
Mm-hmm. And you have to get rid of the fear. I think sometimes we get to a point where there's some people that may be watching that feel like, well, I've gained so much weight, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be too much. But if you put together, if you get with Sharmane and get and do a discovery call and allow her to show you practical ways that it can be done. I had, you know, there's still some things that I'm pushing out of my body as far as waste is concerned. But one thing I realized, I noticed they changed when I started to make a decision to go in the right direction and change my eating habits, because I already have things ahead of me. I already have diseases already set in place, ready to take over my body. And you have to be proactive, just like you're proactive when it comes to your children. You make sure that those children are taken care of. You don't let nothing happen to them. You are proactive. We have to be the same way towards our body. We have to have the same concern, and especially as mothers, we tend to kind of leave ourselves. We kind of put, you know, take care of everybody else and push our health to the back burner, because we're taking care of our husbands, we're taking care of our children, we're taking care of our mom. Well, you got to take care of you, because if you don't take care of you, who's going to take care of your kids? Who's going to take somebody else? Going to come and take care of your husband? You know, somebody else will come in and take care of your kids. So you definitely want to be proactive. And just because you have diabetes doesn't mean that it's not reversible. It is something that can be reversed. Don't let anybody convince you that this is the end of the world. I told my mom, this is the way. I said, no, you can change. And my mom's blood sugar levels have been regulating, because she's been listening, you know, to a lot of the things that I have been sharing with her based on the little bit of knowledge and understanding I've had on my own experience. And I told you, it can be reversed. Don't let people, you don't have to walk around saying that my family got it, so I guess that's what it's going to be. You know, no, it doesn't have to be that way. You can change that. You can change it. Even if you have it, you can change it. I know a lady who was extremely overweight, had 8 kids, and she ate a plant-based diet and began to change some things. And now she doesn't even have diabetes. It's gone. Mm-hmm. It's gone. Exactly. Taking insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I saw her and I thought, oh my gosh, if it's affecting her, it took, and I was saying to myself, oh my God, it's got to take an incredible amount of discipline, because, you know, especially when we like eating meat all the time and we feel like we can't have a dinner plate or lunch plate without some food, without a piece of meat. And I watched her, and even feeding her kids. You were so right. I watched her, even her kids, eating a plant-based diet. And I look at her kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like their skin looks amazing, their body looks well. They don't have to go around trying to suck and tuck, and they're watching their mom.
Yeah.
She's setting the example. So that's encouraging, Sharmane. That really is encouraging.
Yes, definitely. I've done it myself also. You know, I've done it myself also on my Instagram page also. You can book a call with me on my website, but also I do have a newsletter, you know, and in that newsletter, the upcoming newsletter, the Heal by Nature newsletter, I have the upcoming one for 1 September. You are able to go on my Instagram page and click the link in the bio if you want to subscribe to that now. In this newsletter, I will be giving you some tips and some things like that I utilize on a daily basis to kind of help me. So if you kind of have that anxiety, like, oh my gosh, you know, it may be too much, or have that, you know, go in and go ahead and subscribe to that newsletter, because that newsletter will give you a good start, a good slow start on what you're trying to accomplish, you know, just, you know, on what you want to do, you know, because half of the time we're busy looking up here and we have to start down here. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, but you want to get to a point where you start and stop staying stuck and stop just dealing with it because somebody told you that you had to deal with it, because you don't. You can take absolute control of your health. So you definitely want to be able to go forward and just move and just go.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I I know if you're like me, I've enjoyed every session that Sharmane comes on and help us with. She's incredible with, like I said, she doesn't have just only the experience. She has invested in the knowledge that she has to educate not just only herself to bring changes, but she's also affecting people that are around her and trying to impact people with the knowledge and information. Make sure you guys visit her website and book a DC call, a discovery call with her, either on Instagram at let me see, at the IG at Sharmane_Q. Maybe you can book a DC call with her there. And you can also visit her if you don't have Instagram or don't really know much about Instagram. You can also visit her at www.healbynature.org. But whatever it is, don't take the information that you're getting for granted. Hello. Don't take the information for granted because you don't know. I mean, the way things going. Hi, Khadija. Khadija has been really Khadijah's been juicing. She's been sharing the information. She works out a lot. Khadija has went through a tremendous health change within a year or two, and she's been juicing, like sharing the information with her actual with her people at her job. And she's been juicing all kinds of juices and stuff like that. And it's been successful. People have been like really like, especially it's funny because it's always us. We're like, at our age, we're like, people are like, yeah, I want to live. It's funny because we wait until we like in our 40s and 50s, then we like, yeah, I want to live.
Right.
I'm gonna eat all the cheesecake. My son used to do that. I'm gonna eat all the candy. I used to be like, okay, you keep eating that food. You already know, I ain't worried about that. I'm just eat whatever. And I'm like, you can at a young age eat whatever, but you either pay the price now or you pay the price later. And now he's like, oh, I can't eat that stuff. I'm like, he's 23 now. So he's like, oh, I can't eat that now. I'm like, I'm glad you decided to stop because he was eating candy like more than he was eating food. I used to be like, son, I'm worried about you. You're not eating. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. But now, yes, Khadija, 100%. You either pay for it now or you pay for it later. You either pay for it, you either get in and do what you got to do. Don't wait until you're 60 and 70, and to do something with your health. You can do something now. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important. Like, and like I could talk about the kids all day. I could talk about the kids and breaking the cycles of generational health all day because that's where it starts. It starts with the habits. Mm-hmm. It starts with yourself as a parent. Teaching your children the importance of it, not just teaching them and telling them, but being the example. Because they can't eat what you don't buy. And if you said with Khadija, I love it. Like juicing is my go-to. Fruit juicing, that's my go-to. Like I can do it all day. I love juicing. Yes.
My event's gotten to the point to my 4-year-old now. She goes, we were out and about yesterday, and she goes, Mommy, I want some apple juice. And I'm like, well, and she's like, no, I want the apple juice from home. And I'm like, she wants the juice. She likes the juice app where I juice the apples. And so I was like, well, baby, we in the street. Like, I can't just stop and get home. I was like, I can go and get you, I could go and maybe get you. She was like, no, I want the apple juice from home. And so I was like, okay, I've started that habit. So I said, okay, Nadira, this is what you're going to have to do. When you're going out and you're running errands, you're going to have to plan your day because you're getting them on the right track. Because it took a while for me to get from I never really gave them soda. So that was good. I never gave them soda. I might have like their brothers or sister might have snuck some soda to them, but I never give them soda. But they were like real diehard apple juice fans. Like anybody that knows me will tell you, if you want to get Nadira's kids anything, apple juice. Like that was their thing. And so to see them go from, even just in the past year, go from having to have apple juice all day long to, then we went to the water, they like the little bottled waters. To them, that was like, oh, look, I got my own little bottle. We did that for months. And I didn't buy juice like until like recently. And I bought orange juice and it's spoiled. And I thought, Orange juice used to be the first thing that goes in our house. Like orange juice, apple juice, you know, the water makes, you know, the boys would drink the water, but orange juice, any type of juice used to go. But I had to throw away 2 containers of orange juice. So it's like, okay, so this is working. It doesn't, you know, you are, like you said, you're the parent. You're in control of what you buy. So now I buy bags of apples, bags of oranges, and they're like, Mommy, you want the apple juice? So I said, okay, if we're going to go out, I bought them their little sippy cups and stuff. I said, I'm going to have to put some juice, some apple juice, and put it in there. That way they can stay on that regimen because I really love it.
And they get excited. They get excited about it. When they get you have to get the kids involved. You know, I have my daughter in the kitchen with me. I'm like, okay, let's do this. You know, I have her in the grocery store. I have videos of her in the grocery store, and we're just kind of going. And she gets so excited. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get the cabbage," and she'll run down the aisle and get. And she already knows what I'm gonna get, so she grabs the bags and she just goes and she just puts stuff in the bag and put it in the cart, and we just go from there. And I'm just like, to go from where serving in the military and going to McDonald's and Burger King every day, almost every day, and Pizza Hut every Friday. You know, to where I'm at now, and she's only 8, is possible. It can be done. Yeah, it can definitely be done if you get them in.
Absolutely. Getting them involved is key. Absolutely. It looks like Charmaine's screen had frozen up for a little while. Oh, it looks like she's coming back.
Oh, yes. It froze up for a second.
Things like she's coming back.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, just get the kids involved. It's super important. You know, get them excited. You know, kids adjust. They're very resilient. Yeah. They will definitely adjust. So, you know, kind of saying, oh, my kid won't eat that. My kid won't eat this. No, they will eat it. You just have to find an alternative. Like, if you want to come off of meat. Just start making mushroom chicken strips. You know,
interesting.
Yeah, wow. I do it with my daughter. She's like, I'm not gonna ever eat a regular chicken strip ever again. I love it. You know, we take the portobello mushroom cap, we slice it up, we batter it in chickpea flour and fry it in grapeseed oil. We season it up with herbs and spices, and same texture. Is, you know, and she enjoys it.
Wow, that's amazing. My daughter asked me yesterday. She said, "Can you pack my lunch for me, Mommy? Because I like the way." And I thought to myself, and I was like, God, but then I thought, you know what? If I'm going to create this habit, that I have to stick to it. So that means if I have to go an extra step, and that's sometimes parents, you know, especially if they work 9 to 5, we're entrepreneurs, so we sometimes have the flexibility. But sometimes when there's people who don't have as much time as we do, you can prepare. You can food prep, you know. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to prep her lunch for her tomorrow, so she can be able to have, you know, the fresh squeezed apple juice and have her, you know. And I was surprised because I thought, oh, they're not going to eat that, but they are eating it because they're seeing me eat it. When I heard you say I eat the same thing every day, I started laughing to myself because I found out that I am loving mushrooms. Like I have been, you know, cooking a bunch of peppers, all the colorful peppers and mushrooms and onions and the quinoa rice, and my kids love it. Oh my gosh. They be like, sometimes I'll be like, well, I didn't think they were going to like it. But even my 18-year-old, he's like, Mom, cook that stuff that look like beads. Like, cook that. And I'm like, okay. So it's, you know, I realize if I'm going to, you know, there's certain, you have to be intentional. And if I'm going to take them out, or if I'm doing some things, and I have to prepare so that they're not going back to that old habit. Now they won't even go. If I go to McDonald's, they're like, "Oh, we don't want the slimy burger. We don't want the slime burger." And I'm like, "How do you know about that?" They're like, "We don't want the slime burger. We want your cooking." I'm like, "Okay, so it can be done." It can be
definitely done. Prioritizing. Even if you are working, you know, full job, like you just have to prioritize. You know, you have to, you know, what's important. You know, you have to just ask yourself what's important. Is me sitting down after, you know, a long day watching TV important, or am I going to get my kids and we're going to get in the kitchen and we're going to get to, you know, dibbling and dabbling in the kitchen and start making creations? You know, like you said, meal prepping helps. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sharmane, so much for always giving us good information. Make sure you guys, again, visit her on her website, www.healbynature.com. bit.org, and make sure you guys set up a discovery call with her. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. She knows exactly what she's talking about, and she can get you on a path to right healing. I also want to say before we close the broadcast, I also teaching a class this Saturday at 7 p.m. where I'm going to show you how to create content videos for whatever business, product, or service that you have. So make sure you register. It's only $67. I mean, if you see what some of these courses cost just to be able to learn how, or just what you have to pay for other people to create these videos for you, make sure that you register at bit.ly/create content for myself so that you can be able to register. Seats are limited, and I'm only doing it for a select few. So if you want to know how to create content videos, make sure you register. Sharmane, you also have something coming up too. You want to go ahead and tell us about that?
I have my newsletter.
Okay.
My newsletter coming up for 1 September. That's what I do have coming up, the most recent thing that I have. Yeah, and they can get that link, www.healbynature.org. You can reach out to me, and then I can also send them that link, or they can go on Instagram also and click the link and to subscribe and register. Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. You got it. We have given you information to help transform your life. And just like I said, just like hurt people, transform people can transform people too. And Sharmane is our example. She has been transformed by the renewing of her mind and by the practical application that she has learned. So make sure you join. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday with Sisterhood Check-In. I'm excited, and don't forget to join us also on Sundays with Dinner with the Coaches. We can't wait to see you till then. And if you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comments. If you are watching a replay, make sure you put #replay so that we can know who's actually watching, and let us know where you're watching from. Let us get an idea of where you're watching from, so that way we can be able to make sure that we're making sure that you have everything that you need, and making sure that we can see exactly, it's about the analytics. We want to know whose live we're impacting and where we're having the most impact. So make sure that you drop your name and your state that you're calling from. And we appreciate, again, you watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.
I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I wake.